Yesterday, in our training, we considered the question, why Christianity? And as part of the way to discover an answer for that, we looked at life sort of as being like we're flying on an airplane. And at any moment, that plane was going to crash, sort of picturing the fact that someday we're going to die. We just don't have any idea when that's going to happen. We considered how different worldviews would provide an answer to the dilemma of an airplane about to crash. We considered, for example, Buddhism, which basically says, there's no airplane, there's no ground, there's really no pain to look forward to. So in one sense, it sort of provides relief from all the agony related to life and maybe even the dangers to come. But it doesn't really solve the problem of the fact that we're going to stand before God on Judgment Day, and we'll have to be accountable for sin. We've also considered Hinduism, which gives us the concept of reincarnation, which basically says, again, going back to the airplane analogy, if you were to jump, you'd be sucked back into the plane as another passenger, and depending on how you live your life, you could either be in first class or you'd be bumped down to a lower class. But again, it still doesn't solve the problem of sin, of righteousness, and judgment. We also considered other worldviews, other ideas, such as Islam, and even the whole works-based aspect of Islam. You have the idea that you were to jump out of the plane, you could flap your arms and just hope that you didn't hit the ground. And in some ways, other religions sort of fit into that same sort of idea. Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, others that are works-based, trying to say, it's everything I can do to avoid what's coming. But then we also look at Christianity, biblical Christianity, which basically says that God has given us a parachute in the person of Jesus Christ, and we need to put him on, which implies that we repent by faith, turn from our sin, and put our faith and trust in what he has done for us. And in that sense, he's saved from the wrath of hitting the ground. This afternoon I was thinking about these things again, and I had something else that came to my mind that sort of addresses this. Think for a moment if you go to a restaurant and you order your food and you sit down, and after a while the food comes and it's sitting there before you. You could smell it. Oh, it just looks so beautiful there on the plate. It might even look like it did coming right out of the menu. Then again, it might not. How often that happens. But then imagine that the chef comes out, or the cook comes out from the kitchen there, and he says, well, here, are you enjoying your meal? And you talk about how beautiful it is and how nice it is. You're glad that you finally have it. But then he says, I'd like to take this and go cook it some more. Well, that doesn't really make any sense because it's already done. So, or you could also think about somebody's working on your house. A contractor comes and he's working on your house. And the day finally comes when all the work's completed, and he hands you the keys, and you say, that's it, here it is, it's all done. But then he starts to go back to work on your house. What sense does it make to go back to work on something that's already done, it's completed? Or even consider if you had an accountant who says, here, I've got some checks for you to sign. One of them to the restaurant that you ate, so we'll pay for that bill. And here's another check you need to sign for the contractor who's building your house. So you sign the checks, you give them to him, and then the accountant produces two more checks, one for the restaurant and another for the contractor. Why would you pay twice for something that's already been paid for? In the same sense, we have Jesus, who died on the cross, and he said, it's finished. The work that he did for us is done. We just need to repent and trust him and walk in obedience to his word. He's done the work for us. It's over. It's just so sad, and it breaks my heart to know that people would much rather continue to try in their own ways. Well, it's like the proverb says, that there is a way that seems right to a man, but that ends in a way that is death.